I'll give everybody a minute to get on there. What else am I looking for? I know. All right. Okay, all. We are here today, Labor Day weekend, the end of summer, usually signifies. So we're going to go over a few things. Obviously, the big thing will be the change of the venue for the workout on Tuesday and Thursday. For those of you that will be coming to the track, we aren't going to the track though. So if you look, no, that's the wrong one. Sorry. But if you look at the calendar, you'll see next week. I'm using Sean's. If you see next week, on Thursday, she has the Monument Loop, and that's everybody. You'll be at the Monument Loop for Tuesday and Thursday at 6:30 p.m. But we don't meet at the actual hill, obviously. We meet at Fallen Timbers parking lot, and then we normally meet, and then we run over to the hill, and then we do our loop there. Now, if you're unable to go or you're one of our remote trainers, you basically, if you can find some type of hill around you in your area, you're going to want to go to that, and you're going to want to create some type of circuit, some type of loop where you can run anywhere from 1,200 meters to a mile with a decent sized hill or several hills if you have that available to you. Here in Northwest Ohio, as all of you that have lived here for your whole life, like myself, know that you actually have to go find a hill if you want to run hills. There aren't hills around here. So that's what we're doing. We will be heading over to Fallen Timbers, and then we will run over to the Monument Loop that we are so accustomed to for our fall training, and we will take on the hill. Okay. And if any of you have ever run Churchill's before the half marathon, that hopefully will be happening. Still haven't heard anything on that yet. You know that's in the last mile of the race. They like to throw that hill in there. A little added bonus for you. So it kind of warms us up for that too. But anyway, that will be either Tuesday and Thursday. So remember that. We won't be at the track. We will be at Fallen Timbers to run the hill. Okay? Now, that's number one. Okay? Second thing, don't forget we're wrapping up the lunge challenge today. You have that document in your Trading Tilt notes. And if you go right over to here, it's not really in your notes, it's in your files. You go to shared files because I'm sharing them with you. You will see that it is there. Shows you what you had to do for the lunges. So make sure you do that. The reason why I'm showing you this again is because any type of document, any type of plan, handout I would give you, you're going to find it here on the shared files. And I just keep reminding these things every week, just, so everyone gets used to it, because, unless you're using it regularly, which I'm sure most of us aren't, then you kind of, got to be reminded, because unless you use something repeatedly, we obviously don't remember that little teacher thing. So it's in the shared files. And then the videos, don't forget, I've added a few this week, especially some for kind of recovery, working on your form, things like that. You can see here, Dana has one on foot health, taking care of your feet, range of motion. Also, if you've been someone who's been doing our programs for a few years, you'll know these are some of the videos, our stock videos that we like to use because they're pretty good ones. We'll be updating the library as we keep going through with new ones too. So even if you've been around, you'll see some new ones when we can get to Dana and Jeff. Their range of motion one, and then improve your posture. And all this can be linked to your running. Because I know some people were asking about running form and how they can work with it and make it better. One thing I do notice on the track a lot is when people run, if you're going with not really range of motion, but when you're going with your running form, I notice this a lot in the track. I was even speaking to someone this week about it, your arm swing. A lot of you have to be careful with your arm swing. Your momentum always wants to go forward. Obviously, you want to get from point A to point B as fast as you can in a race. So your arm should be going forward too. Some of you tend to cross one of your arms like you will cross over the midsection of your body, your midline. And that shouldn't happen. Your arm and hand should come right up to about the midline of your body, just like that. If I was facing the camera, it goes right up to there just like that. And then your other arm should come up just like that. That's how it should come up. And it shouldn't come up to your chin either. It should kind of come up about to your, breast level, right about there. If you're driving them that hard, then that's a sprint. For most of your training in that, you're going to be driving them about mid-level to about chest level. But yeah, when you get tired, that's when fatigue happens, and that's when the arms start. Because when you're doing that, now you're going side to side as well as going forward. So now you're taking away your forward momentum, and you're going side to side at this point. So now you're taking away a little bit of your time, tiring yourself out too. So no one's doing that crazily, but when you bring your arms up and you're going to your shoulders almost, you're wasting that forward momentum. So that's something to think about, and it's an easy fix too. I had that issue when I was in high school, and I used to take 5-pound hand weights, my mom's hand weights, and I would sit in front of a mirror for about 30 seconds to a minute and do a set of just swinging my arms from my shoulders to letting my shoulders do the work, not my elbow, not bending my elbow much, but just swinging my shoulder through in a nice straight kind of midline form. And I would do that for about 30 seconds to a minute, a few times each night. So that's something you can do to work on it. But it's just a conscious thing you can think about too that will help you when you get fatigued, especially. Hi, Holly. So anyway, don't forget that. Make sure that's something that can help, because I notice quite a few people do that on the track because you're running faster, and that's when it really becomes evident. Okay, so that's 2. I just wanted to bring that up quickly. Third thing, not to forget about, did I say submit your lunch challenge? I think I did. But if you haven't, submit your lunch challenges to your coaches on Training Tilt or wherever they want you to put them. That would be good. And I'll be putting some more videos up from Dana and Jeff, working on, recovery, a little bit of, injuries here and there, what you can do to do things. We'll be adding more videos to it. Okay? Some strengthening videos too as we go through. And that's where you'll find all of those. All right, that's good. Now, next, this week we're going to take a break from the team challenge. All right, and we're going to throw some individual challenges in there as we go through the weeks, just to kind of spice things up, make it a little different, give the coaches a break from hounding all of you daily to turn in your results for this and that and the other thing. But this week we're going to do one of our popular ones. We kind of done it a couple times, and it seems to be fun for some, troublesome for others, frustrating for even more. But it's called Art Me Do this time, after the Beatles. Love Me Do, get it? But Art Me Do instead of Love Me Do. Yeah, and I know I'm reaching for these. I'm telling you, I'm really reaching to try to make these work. But anyway, you have the week starting tomorrow, Labor Day, all the way to our meeting on Sunday to get out there, give me your best run that will show me a picture or a drawing. And obviously you would need to use like Strava or your Garmin map to show that. I have plenty of examples. Since Mary's here, I'm going to put up her alpaca. Okay, she did an alpaca, which was pretty cool in the spring. All right. And now that I have it, if she does it again, I can just tell her she's cheating now because now she's copying her own run. And then we got like my terrible one compared to Mary's. So there's mine. I wrote out MIT. Not quite the artistic ability of Mary, but that's about as good as I'll get. Um, got one that I got a couple others. Show you. Most of them are words. Mary was one of the few that did a drawing, which is pretty cool because I think it's a little bit harder to do some type of neat drawing than it is to spell something out a word. Um, and this one I think just says hug on it. Man, this thing's loading slow today. But anyway, you're kind of getting the drift here. You can write a word as it says. You can, and I'll put a couple examples too in Training Tilt so people can see them along with this document in your file section so you can kind of see what's going on. Okay, but this will be in there. Like I said, I'll drop this in your files. But so you're going to go out there, either give me some type of picture, some type of word, short phrase, something. Like I said, it begins today, goes through Saturday. Now, since I see most of you, this will be a lot easier. I don't see everyone, but I see most of you. We're gonna have prizes for this one, okay? Since we don't have many, we usually have our raffles on Saturdays or once a month. We were doing it in the spring, giving out prizes. We're not really doing that because of COVID and that. So I thought we'd do a couple here and there to try to spice things up here with some prizes. So first place, we'll get a pair of Gooder sunglasses. I don't know if you can even see them that well. There you go. Well, it's kind of like that. Well, I have the box anyway. There's no glasses in it. But anyway, they had some new ones come out too, so I think it might be pretty cool. So first place, we get a pair of Gooder sunglasses. Second place, I have a $15 certificate for you. And third place, I have a $10 certificate for you for days. Okay. So you have the days. Now, where do you post them? Good question. I'm glad all of you asked. So this is where I'd like to see them because this will also help us get used to a little bit more of Training Tilt. In the section that a lot of you find frustrating at times, the chat. Okay. If I go into the chat and on your phone, it is not going to really work. So you're either going to have to go to the web version on your phone or use your laptop or some type of other device that has a little bit more flexibility with online workability, so to speak. So this is my group, or no, this is if I fell, stop my watch. This is my wife's group. Sorry, I'm on her account. But anyways, you go up here to show all posts, and if you click on that, everybody who's posted all week will pop up. It's like just a general post. Okay, just like if you were to go to Facebook and see everyone posting in one area. This is where it would all be. So you have Brent's here from his group, Coach Brent from his group, Coach Herman for his group of Get Back. Brent even put it in the whole thing, so that's good. He's reminding all of you. Herman in his group. You got all of these different people posting, Coach Dennis in his group. But that's what you're going to do. You're going to post your picture in here. Okay, and it has a spot right here to load your image. You just click on that, and then you can select your image from your desktop. Okay, or your phone if you're on the web version of it. So that's where you'll post them. And what I'll do is I'll look at them all week. And then on Sunday, when we come back here for our next Zoom meeting, I will have the results. So, you have this week, Saturday, and by the time we have the meeting, I should have the winners for you that week. So you don't have to worry about a team challenge. We're just going to do an individual challenge this week. So something fun for you to do. Got the holiday tomorrow, so you plan it tonight or tomorrow. Get out there, maybe do it tomorrow and get it in right away. Don't have to do it if you don't want to. It's just purely voluntary. Something fun to do. Thought so. And some of your easier runs. Okay? All right. So that's the second thing I wanted to go over. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about, and this is where we'll get into, is a little bit the training schedule, just to make sure we're all on the same page with what we're doing this week. Okay? So I'm going to start with the one that most people are doing, which is our intermediate plan. Makes it a little easier to work from there. And you see there's our monument loop. That's your track day. Okay? And so if you're Tuesday or Thursday, if you're supposed to be at the track or doing your track workout, then you would do the monument loop. And if you if you're a remote trainer, you're going to want to do that in your area. And like I said, if you can find a good hill or some even rolling hills and get a little mile loop in there and go after that threshold pace, a minute rest, that'd be perfect. 5 miles on Monday tomorrow, so we're going back up again in mileage. Okay, you saw you had 27 last week. We're bumping back up to 31. All right, so that's a modest. That's about a 15% increase. So nothing too crazy. We try to keep it around 15%, sometimes 20, sometimes 10, but 15 is more moderate and easy to work with. Okay, then you monument loop for your track rest on Wednesday. And then your other workout, whether the opposite of the track day. So if you're on the track Tuesday, you do this Thursday. If you're on the track Thursday, you do this Tuesday, is we're going back to a fartlek, okay, of 6 miles. And so you're going to do 5 times 5 on and 2 off. All right, so that's 35 minutes. So kind of figure out in your head what's going to, the time amount to get that 6 miles in. So 35 minutes will give some people, could give some people 4 miles, could give some people 2 to 3 miles. So you're going to need to warm up a good mile or two and then cool down a good mile or whatever's left to get to 6. So I would definitely at least warm up a mile. If you know you're going to be going pretty, your pace is not that fast, so the fartlek will not take up a lot of mileage, then you might want to add up a little bit more of the warm up and cool down into your workout. Okay. Then Friday is another 4 mile easy run. And then Saturday, we begin our double digit excursions of long runs. We start at 10 miles this week. So yes, the long runs are going to go up. Like we said, we talked about this. A lot of people have reached out and asked if we weren't training for marathons, which we're not this fall because there aren't any really to train for. The only one around here just happened last night, which I can see by some of you, your eyes are drooping like mine. You might have been up for almost half the night. Okay, I think I slept for an hour from about 7 to 8 at my house, and then I went back out there for the rest of the night, and I slept another 4 hours today, and that's about it. So, but anyway, so we're going to go to 10 miles, and since we're building up these long runs, we're going to get to, and this is the intermediate schedule, we're going to get to 15 miles. Okay. If that's not in your wheelhouse, like you're like, man, I've never run a marathon. I don't plan on running a marathon. And the most I do in my long run is like 10 miles, 11. And that's fine. You don't have to do that entire long run. We just, like a lot of the people that train, want to do a more healthy long run. And if you're ever thinking of doing a marathon, like you might get your feet wet one of these days, might be good to try some of these long runs out to see how your legs hold up and how you feel about it. Without actually having to jump into a marathon of some sort and run it. Okay. Because since you're going to go past that marathon distance with 14 and 15 miles, that would be a good thing to do. Yes, treadmill hills will definitely work in place of, that incline on a treadmill definitely is good enough for a hill. Yeah. Set it. If you're doing a hill on a treadmill, if you're going to do an incline on a treadmill as this workout, I would put a hill in there for, I would say, about a minute to 2 minutes for every mile. So maybe add a nice incline in there, a nice little incline of like 3 to 4% for about a minute or two. And that would do the trick for sure. And maybe your treadmill has a hill workout already in it and you can do that. So that's up to you too. But that's a good question because you can use hills on the treadmill. But back to the long run. So if you were thinking of maybe doing a marathon down the road, you can jump into these 14 and 15 milers and see how they feel. But the rest you should have done because everyone here is kind of working towards a half marathon. Or these plans are for people who pretty much have run a half marathon, the intermediate and advanced. Our novice plan are for those who are looking to tackle their first half marathon. And we'll see their long runs in a minute. They're just going to get to that 13, close to that 13, but not quite. But the rest of us will go over it. And like I said, you can run the long run at your comfort level too, for the distance. So 10 miles this weekend, and that'll give us 31. The advanced plan is very similar to this plan, only a few changes. Obviously, the mileage is always the biggest factor. You're going to 34 miles, and you see here that's just a little over 10% of an increase. Yeah, close to 15 again. 15 would technically be 4.5, but we're at 34, so good enough. So we got 6 miles on Monday, so 1 more mile. Same workout as the intermediate plan, same rest day. You're doing an extra mile but you're doing the same amount on the fartlek, because 5 on is a lot. You know, I don't need to crush the advanced people by making them run fast a lot more. It's just a little bit more bump in mileage, and sometimes the workout will get a little bit more for them. But this week they don't need to do that. The 5 on, 5 times 5 on 2 offs. There's still 35 minutes. You just might need to add in some more mileage at the beginning and at the end to get 7 instead of 6. And then your Friday run is 5 miles, and you're doing the 10. Not only you're doing the 10-mile run as everybody else too. So everybody's increasing that 10-mile run the same this week for the intermediate and advanced. So there's no need for another extra mile or whatever to add in there for anyone. All right. Now our novice plan is pretty simple too. We're increasing that long run to 7 miles, and as you see, their long run only goes to 11 because we're trying to get to a half marathon distance to race one. So we're going to start it. We're going to go to 7 this week, increasing 20 to 25. The monument loop, you're doing the same thing, but you're only doing it twice, and you're getting a little bit more rest because it's going to be a little bit more challenging for some of you. And then 35 minutes on your opposite day of Tuesday, Thursday, your opposite of the workout day. And if you're on the novice plan, your workout day is Thursday, so that would be Tuesday. I just kept this the same, the track and Tuesday, Thursday thing here, because it makes sense for all the schedules to be the same setup. Rest and rest. So we're still at 4 days. You guys will eventually, if I recall, no, we're going to keep you at 4 days through this. Okay, good. That's what we usually do. 5 days is asking a lot for a novice plan to get to the 13-mile mark, to that half marathon distance. How far is the loop? 1,200 to 1,600 meters. Okay, depends on the trail we run and how we can get to it, but usually it's about a mile. It's real close to it. This first one, I usually try to get it real close to a mile. If you get 1,200 meters, that's good if you're on your own. 1,200 to a mile is what we're looking for. I'm going to try to move. Those of you who have done this workout before, I am going to try to switch the start finish a little bit. I want to make this a little more challenging. So I'm going to try to get that hill somewhere else besides right at the beginning. Could be in the middle, could be at the end. And I'm going to try to make it so we can either go easy down that other hill or start maybe at the base of it or something, because I know it is a tricky spot, and it's just an accident waiting to happen. Someone going down there and it's dark and shaded and leaves fall, it gets slippery. So and it's pretty steep. So I'm just concerned someone's going to go head first down it. And so we're going to probably try to either avoid it, loop around, or maybe start at the base and work our way through it, and maybe use that little top of the hill down to the base as a little shuffle jog or walk to start again. Okay? Questions on any of that so far? Are the threshold tempo pace the same, and what do they mean as fast as I can go? Threshold and tempo are different. Tempo for this program, for the marathon and half marathon program, a tempo run is your half marathon or marathon goal pace. Okay, so if I'm running a half marathon and my goal pace is to break 2 hours, I don't even know what pace that is. What is that, like 8-minute pace? 8:30? Any of you
9:05
can do the math real fast. But anyways, let's say I want to run 8:30 pace for my marathon or half marathon, whatever it is. Well, then my tempo runs or my HMP or MP runs all want to be at that pace. I want to run 8:30, 8:30, 8:30, 8:30. And I want to be as consistent as possible. I don't want to go 8:05, then 8:17, then 8:23, then 8:35, and 8:40. I want to go from fast to slow. I want to start out at 8:30 or even a little slower and then get to 8:30. So 8:30, maybe my first mile is 8:40, then I go to 8:35, then 8:30, 8:30, 8:30. So you try to stay consistent. Threshold is just a bit quicker, 20 to 30 seconds faster than that pace, and you get a little break because it's not one big extended run like the half marathon pace or marathon pace tempo runs. Those are one big extended run of 4, 5, 6 miles, whatever it may be. The threshold are like interval runs. You run for a certain short, brief period, or not so short, depending on how far you do it. Some people call them cruise intervals. They don't call them threshold because you're not going along at a real hard pace. You should be like cruising through them. Should be a challenge, but it shouldn't be like an interval where you're puffing and puffing and need a little bit more rest and walk around to catch your breath. These should be, you get done, you're kind of laboring a little, but you're getting ready for the next one. That's why there's only a minute for most of your rest, because you shouldn't be gassed after each one. You should be able to get back up there and do it again at the same pace, not slower, and even be able to go a little faster on the last one. These are designed, like I said, to bring that level, that red line level up of your oxygen intake and all that work you're doing up. And then as it goes down, we don't give you a lot of rest, so we can bring you up quickly again. So you spend more time in that zone, that red zone, that threshold zone, we call it, okay? Which is going to work on that cardio, keeping you fit up there. So the less rest we give you, the longer you'll stay in that zone as the more of these you do. So the first hill, you might not get to that zone until the last 2 minutes. Second loop around the hill, you might get to that zone and then be in that zone for 3-4 minutes and so on. So it just depends. That rest will keep you in that zone longer as you get to each successive interval through it. I know it's a little complicated. It's not. I have a little document on threshold. I can throw that in the training tilt too, just so you get a little bit better explanation in written words so you can read it, and that might help too. But that's the difference, just slightly. The temp thresholds are a little faster, but you get a little break between them instead of just one big run at a tempo pace. Okay. Now I know if you did 5K training before, the tempo is different. It's not your 5K pace. Okay, it's actually a little slower. But that's because, if I say run your tempo at your 5K pace, you're going to be able. That's pretty much telling you to go race your 5K. So because tempo then goes longer than your distance if it's a 5K. But that's a good question too, just to make sure for people who are kind of newer to the scene, how these workouts work. All right. Do we have any questions on that one? Are we good for the week? No questions on the week? I'm more than happy to answer anything. Okay. All right. So we're good to go. Saturday, don't forget, you have this in your training tilt. So all the coaches and everyone can avoid telling everybody every week where they're going. Did I get rid of it? Yeah, I might have. Okay, I can bring it back up. Let me bring it back up. We got a few minutes left before I kick you out of here. But anyway, I got this big up too. Remove that. So if I bring this one right here, I'm just going to go to training tilt and show you where it's at. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? That's where the big money's at. All right. So anyway, so if we go back, and we go back to our resources in the shared files, real quickly. Don't leave me. I'm almost done. All right. Well, if my computer loads up quicker than this. All right. So long run locale, that's specifically where you're going to go once you get to your destination, because parks are big. You can go anywhere. Now, this is where you're going to go each week. So if I click on that, my PDF pops up. Okay. And this is that big chart you see all the time that will show you where you're at each week and what your pace groups are. So, we're going to be at September 12th. Know my dates. This shows you each group's at the top. This shows you where each group will be, okay, for that week. So that's that. So don't forget about that one. Now, once you get to, let's say, Oak openings, where do you go? Well, this one, I know it's a lot of documents. Sorry. It's when we're not like meeting all at one place, I got to figure out a way to get everyone to where they're going each week. It's not easy with 200 people. Okay. Hold on. Writing note in athlete's notes. Yeah, I can show you that. And then here's all the parks, all the locations we're going to with links to directions. And then if there's a specific place, it's underneath with an asterisk. Okay, so like I said, Oak openings. You're going to meet at the Mallard Lake shelter in the back area of the parking lot. Okay, so you look for Mallard Lake when you go to the park, and it'll point you in has little park directions, and you just go there into the back parking lot and there's a shelter. So all of those are like that. So because some people were wondering where they're at, and it just makes sure we're all at the same place so people aren't getting lost. Now that's another good question. Your notes for when you're commenting or when your coaches are commenting, again, I'll show you that quickly. If we go to Sean's schedule, here. Okay. It's pretty simple. You just click on your calendar day is all you have to really do. And those options should pop up. Okay. So here's her Sunday. It was a rest day. You can use any day. All right. And you see it pops up. That's her day. This is where the notes go under comments. Now, when you're on your phone, if you use the app, you click on the day of the week. What pops up will be 2 word bubbles. Okay. You know, like comic book word bubbles. That is the notes section there. I know it's confusing because there are bubbles on the online too. And that also are notes too. But when you click on your day, there won't be a word that says comments. It'll just be the little picture of word bubbles at the top, like these tabs here. And you just click on that and you see Sean wrote her lunges were complete. And if I were her coach, I would, I could say thank you or, whatever if we wanted to. And the main thing to remember is AN means Sean has said something. She said lunge is complete, and there's the little white AN. And if a coach responds, you'll see a CN. Like here on Monday, back on Monday for hers, you see a CN. That means her coach said something to her on their side of it. Okay? So that's how you do notes. Questions on that? All of you? No? No? Okay. All right. Yeah, the bubbles are on the phone. I know. The app is not as thorough as this, but you can get to that. It's just the word bubbles. All right, gang. Anything else? I don't want to hold you up on your fun-filled Labor Day weekend. I will definitely see you out at the track. For those I'll see out at the track. And for my remote trainers, I know I've been like dark for the last 24 hours or so, but I've been out at Olander Park watching people run through the night. I'm not as brave as them to do my own running, but I watched them all do it. And it was pretty intense, so I will get to you guys tonight, and I'll be commenting on your weekend runs. So I will definitely touch base with you guys. But the rest of you, have a good week. We're going back up in mileage. The weather is going to be much, much milder. Looks like only 180-degree day around here. So the rest are in the 70s, and I can take that. I can dig it. Okay? All right, guys. Thanks for stopping in. We will see you next week. Have a great Labor Day, and see you later. Let's get after it.